At the moment, Lin Yu looked like he was unlovable. Now that Wanda has discovered it, there is absolutely no way I can hide it anymore. This little girl, seeing the money is like seeing the bones of Erha. I am afraid it is impossible for her to give up. Lin Yu can only honestly explain, saying, I'm not too good at stocks, but a big news just happened on the internet. The boss of Stark Industries, the United States' largest military industry company, has disappeared, so their stocks are definitely going to fall. Cheng Shang. Wanda seemed to understand but not understand, and asked, then he fell, how do you make money? Lin Yu said helplessly, definitely is to buy his competitor's stock. Hearing Lin Yu's explanation, Wanda's eyes became brighter and brighter. It seems that a brand new door has been opened in her brain. Brother, I want to invest too. I want to invest in stocks too. Wanda grabbed Lin Yu's arm and shook it vigorously. Lin Yu was about to be shaken out for breakfast. He hurriedly responded, okay, do whatever you want. Can you guarantee a steady profit without losing it? Wanda asked expectantly. Lin Yu was too lazy to talk nonsense, and said directly, guaranteed to make a steady profit. It must be a steady profit. Even without the murder of Tony Stark, how could a mobile phone with master-level stock trading skills lose money? Hearing Lin Yu's assurance, Wanda was even more excited. Brother, I want to invest all my money in the stock market, Wanda said excitedly. Lin Yu was taken aback for a moment, then smiled and asked, how much money do you have? The two ran the grocery store for a few months. How much money can you make? At this moment, Wanda took out her cell phone, opened her bank account, stared with a pair of big eyes, and said while counting with her fingers, 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 58,660. 8. Brother, it's less than $60,000, Wanda said with a smile. What the hell? Hear this number. Lin Yu suddenly stood up on the gaming chair. There was a dull look on his face, then. Lin Yu looked around and looked at his slightly miserable dilapidated grocery store again. I am afraid that all the goods on the shelf are not worth 5,000 yuan. How did Wanda make more than $50,000? But immediately Lin Yu understood, with a wry smile. I was ruined by my younger sister, it turns out that we are really a black shop. Lin Yu wanted to cry without tears. Just when Lin Yu and Wanda were studying the issue of stock trading. In the grocery store, 2 more customers came. Hearing the footsteps, Lin Yu didn't lift his head, and said directly to Wanda, hurry up and recruit Roar customers, I'm studying Tony Stark. For things like recruiting Roar customers, Wanda is naturally very active. Otherwise, where did the more than $50,000 come from? But what Lin Yu didn't notice was that when he said the name Tony Stark in his mouth, the bodies of the 2 customers were shocked. Moreover, the 2 looked at each other, and both saw a trace of caution in each other's eyes. Lin Yu continued to study stocks and news, and Wanda came to them with a professional smile, and asked, what do you want to buy? These 2 people are a man and a woman. All wore rather formal suits. The woman has burgundy hair and a very good figure. And that man, the biggest feature is that his forehead seems a little big. It is a bit bald. At this time, the woman standing in the front smiled and said, little sister, we are not here to buy things. We are from the New York tax office. Come and find out about your store. The smile on Wanda's face disappeared immediately after hearing the woman's words. Not here to buy things? Wanda frowned suddenly. New York tax office? It seems that I have never paid taxes. Brother. Wanda turned her head and shouted to Lin Yu, who was immersed in studying. Hearing the little girl's voice, Lin Yu finally raised his head. But when he raised his head and saw the appearance of these 2 people, he suddenly became calm. Lin Yu couldn't be more familiar with these 2 people. Black Widow Natasha Romanoff, S.H.I.E.L.D. high-level agent Phil Coulson. These 2 people, in the Marvel plot, one is one of the absolute protagonists, the other is one of the most important supporting roles. How could Lin Yu not know each other? Not enough. Just when Lin Yu stared blankly at Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson in front of him. In Lin Yu's mind, the system prompt sounded suddenly. Ding. Congratulations to the host for meeting Natasha Romanoff, the core protagonist of the Marvel world. The plot point is +2. Ding. Congratulations to the host for seeing Phil Coulson, the core supporting actor in the Marvel world. Plot point +1. Ding. Congratulations to the host's plot point for reaching the system promotion standard, and the system level is upgraded to level 2. Lin Yu was so happy. Unexpectedly, just by meeting Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson, I got 3 plot points directly. Moreover, the system has also been upgraded to level 2. At the moment, in front of Lin Yu's eyes, a panel glowing with blue light also appeared at the same time. Host. Lin Yu system level. Level 2, 10 plot points are required to upgrade to level 3. Plot point. 2 points remaining. See the core protagonist of Marvel World. Plot point +2. See the core supporting role. Plot point +1. Participate in core events. Increase plot points according to the degree of participation. Probability of level 1 mutants. 80% probability of second order variants, 20%. Probability of third order variants, 1%, triggered in extreme cases. Probability of fourth order variants, 0%. Seeing his system panel, Lin Yu was equally excited. Although the system was upgraded to level 2, the appearance probability of level 2 mutants only increased to 20%, and it did not directly increase to 100% as I thought. But after thinking about it, Lin Yu was relieved. 20% is already very strong. Like that time when Wanda was pointed at the forehead with a gun, the prompt in his mind sounded at least a dozen times. If at that time, the system was already level 2, there would be at least several level 2 variants among the dozen variants. It's already pretty good. Lin Yu's face gradually showed a hint of excitement, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. After the system has advanced to the second level, I finally have the external strength to break through in the Marvel world. Although he was still the boy at the beginning, he was already a human being around him. Lin Yu suddenly remembered a song from his previous life. It seems to be describing myself. Unconsciously, Lin Yu hummed excitedly. I'm the same boy before, no, elder brother. A sound like an earthquake interrupted Lin Yu's good mood. Wanda didn't know when he pinched his waist with both hands and stood between Lin Yu and Natasha Romanoff. On her face, anger emerged. Because, just after Lin Yu raised his head and saw Natasha Romanoff, his gaze never left the woman's body again, and Lin Yu's face also showed an extremely dirty smile. What's even more hateful is that Lin Yu even hummed a small song in the end. It's a beast. Do not. Animals are not as good. I finally understand that you don't like men, but women like this. Wanda glanced back at Natasha Romanoff's forward and backward body, completely disappointed in his brother. Like men, at least it's Maverick. I'm convinced that I lose. But it's too vulgar to like a woman like this. Vulgar. Unbearable. Especially after watching Natasha Romanoff behind him, and then taking another look at his body, Wanda is even more angry. Original. The reason why my brother doesn't even look at him all day is because of his figure. Hearing Wanda's words, Lin Yu was completely confused. How do I like Natasha Romanoff? I didn't stare at her either. What I saw was the system panel in front of me. But how should I explain to Wanda? Why explain to her? She is not her girlfriend. Lin Yu was completely confused. At this moment, the system prompt sounded again. Ding. Your little girlfriend. Wanda felt jealous when seeing Natasha Romanoff's figure. Some parts of her body changed. Lin Yu's head is big. It was almost about to explode on the spot. What the hell is this? Why has Wanda mutated again? Moreover, it always mutates such a weird place. Definitely. This is not the most speechless part of Lin Yu. What makes Lin Yu the biggest head is, why does the system think that Wanda is his little girlfriend? Just kidding, I don't know yet. Why did the system force her to be her little girlfriend? Isn't this a dog taking a mouse to be nosy? Now, there are two choices before Lin Yu. One is to explain to Wanda. The other is not to explain. Anyway, the body is not afraid of the shadow leaning. However, neither option is easy to make, but for Lin Yu, fortunately, Wanda did not give Lin Yu a chance to explain. Because she suddenly found out, there is something wrong with my body. What's happening here? The anger on Wanda's face was suddenly replaced by a hint of blush. She hurriedly clutched her clothes that seemed to be torn, and ran back to her bedroom on the second floor. Immediately afterwards, the three people on the first floor all heard the startled roar from upstairs. In that voice, there seemed to be surprise, but it also seemed to reveal surprises that could not be concealed. At the moment, Lin Yu's highly tense nerves finally eased. He sat back in his chair. His face was sweaty. He secretly said in his heart, even if Thanos is here, I am afraid it is not so difficult to deal with. Definitely. In the entire grocery store, Lin Yu is definitely not the most daunted person. It was Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson who just walked in. They did not come this time as S.H.I.E.L.D. The two of them hid their identities, and wanted to know some things such as Lin Yu's personality and working style. But as soon as he entered the door, Natasha Romanoff just said a word and didn't know how to proceed. Although the two have not been here for a long time, they feel that they have witnessed a grand audiovisual feast. The love-hate relationship between this young man named Lin Yu and his sister is like a 108-episode TV series. They even forgot their purpose of coming here. For a time, the quietness in the grocery store is a bit scary. Lin Yu sat on the gaming chair behind the bar, still calming his mind. And Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson, standing awkwardly at the door, did not know what to say. Especially Natasha Romanoff. There is a mess in her mind. Just now, she did feel that the young man named Lin Yu looked strange at her. Not only smirked, but also hummed a song. This person, is there something wrong with his brain? But finally, Natasha Romanoff relied on his super high emotional management to recover himself. As one of the strongest agents in the entire Marvel world, her self-adjustment ability is definitely the best. At the moment, still Natasha Romanoff, the first to break the awkward atmosphere in the grocery store. Natasha Romanoff nodded slightly to Phil Coulson beside him, and then showed a professional smile on his face. Thousands of steps took 2 steps, and then said, "Mr. Lin." But just as Natasha Romanoff was about to say something, a door opened suddenly interrupted her. Behind the two, the door of the grocery store was suddenly opened by a gap. To ensure a quiet chat with Lin Yu, Phil Coulson walked in and closed the door. At the moment, it's such a coincidence that a guest is here? Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson both turned their heads at the same time and looked in the direction of the door. However, after the door was pushed through a gap, there was no more movement. What's the situation? How can this grocery store be so strange? Who pushed the door open again? Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson frowned at the same time, ready to close the door again. But before they stretched out their hands, they saw a green dog's head, suddenly poking in the crack of the door. Green dog head? It clearly looked like a husky, but the whole body was green. If you don't know what happened in the New York military district, you might laugh immediately after seeing it. Because of that look, it's really funny, but at the moment, Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson were scared and took a few steps back. Phil Coulson even put his hand on his waist. The look of Natasha Romanoff, the top agent, suddenly became serious. Isn't this green husky just the monster that wreaked havoc on the New York military base? Although the body size has become smaller, the appearance has not changed. At this moment, at a moment of extreme tension between Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson, S.H.I.E.L.D probed the head of the door and looked around humanely. It seems, looking for something. When it saw Lin Yu sitting behind the bar, it suddenly stopped. Even both ears drooped down. It's like a kid who has done something wrong. This scene shocked Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson again. The movements of this husky are totally different from what a dog can make. It seems to be full of wisdom. At this moment, the two had basically confirmed in their hearts that the monster that attacked the New York military base was this husky. Lin Yu's pet dog, Husky. When Nick Fury first said his guess, Phil Coulson was still a little bit unbelievable. But now, he has no objections. Phil Coulson's hand, already separated from his clothes, touched the handle of his pistol. As long as that monster has any action, he will shoot as soon as possible. Although it may not be useful, all he can count on now is the weapon in his hand. At the moment, S.H.I.E.L.D, who only reached into his head, naturally saw 2 uninvited guests, Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson. However, its eyes looked directly at the two of them casually, and it didn't pay attention to them anymore. After all, Lin Yu's grocery store often has some weird people. It's not strange for a long time, but it is still a little afraid to come in. After all, it already has some wisdom, and can feel that it seems to be in trouble. When the 2 hectares' hesitation is indecisive, Lin Yu finally calmed down and got up from the seat. He didn't look at Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson, who had already ridden the tension on their faces, but came to the door in 2 steps. Lin Yu bent down and grasped S.H.I.E.L.D's ear with one hand skillfully. Then, one hard, he directly pulled S.H.I.E.L.D's fat body from the crack in the door. Immediately afterwards, a big foot kicked directly on S.H.I.E.L.D's ass. But S.H.I.E.L.D's body is indeed too fat. Even though Lin Yu was already hard, it just moved its buttocks forward a little bit. Only. Lin Yu's kick obviously made him feel better. Now that the owner has punished himself, then this matter should be over. S.H.I.E.L.D looked back at Lin Yu, who was looking bad, and then rushed to the 2nd floor. Downstairs, Lin Yu heard some pretentiously angry voice. Where did I come back with a coat of paint? It's dirty, what a silly dog. In the whole family, only S.H.I.E.L.D is easy to bully. Lin Yu kicked it twice. Scolded. I feel much better. At this moment, Lin Yu finally turned around and looked at the 2 elite agents Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson. At the moment, grocery store on the 1st floor. When I saw the miserable look of the green husky, Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson's heart collapsed. This monster, who just attacked a New York military base, has such a low status in this grocery store. He was so treated by this young man named Lin Yu. It was brutal and inhumane. Even an ordinary dog AA shouldn't be so miserable. Not to mention, this husky is obviously not an ordinary pet. His body is definitely not dyed in any place. Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson are not stupid. They can tell if the color is caused by the paint. If it was green dyed with paint, then all the ground would be green now. This young man named Lin Yu is obviously opening his eyes and talking nonsense. But the two couldn't expose him. After all, their purpose of coming this time is to secretly assess and investigate Lin Yu. Exposing him, isn't his identity also exposed? Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson, as agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, must put their work first. Although Lin Yu's appearance is clumsy, they can only endure it. It was very hard to endure, but still have to bear with it. But after determining that the husky was that monster that attacked the New York military base, the attitude of the two became more friendly again. What they faced was such a terrifying person. They have to be more cautious. After all, one of his pets is so powerful. Seeing Lin Yu standing quietly in front of the two, Natasha Romanoff still spoke first. Mr. Lin. But Natasha Romanoff just wanted to talk, but was interrupted again. Lin Yu smiled and said, "Beautiful Ms. Natasha Romanoff, let's sit down and talk. I'm sorry for keeping you standing for so long." Lin Yu leaned, showing a very high level of cultivation. This behavior caused Natasha Romanoff to be taken aback. Lin Yu treated his dog so rudely just now, and now it turned out to be really like a gentleman. This change is too fast. The speed of face change is a must. The two brothers and sisters are really the best. They seem to understand why that sister changed her face so quickly. Wrong. After a little stunned for 2 seconds, Natasha Romanoff finally reacted. How does he know his name? Even by karma. This is impossible. It is impossible for ordinary people to know your own name. As S.H.I.E.L.D's high-level agent, their information is absolutely confidential. Even at the police station, he would never find his name. Natasha Romanoff's eyes suddenly rounded, thinking about it with extreme horror. Who the hell is this guy? Natasha Romanoff took 2 steps back sharply, eyes full of disbelief. Behind her, Phil Coulson also showed extreme alertness. And at the moment, Lin Yu had a nonchalant expression. Definitely. In his heart, he was actually a little nervous. After all, Lin Yu has not been courageous since he was young. But just now, Lin Yu has decided to install one. Because he couldn't hide his identity anyway, and the strength of the dog had also been exposed. If you hide it anymore, you are lying to yourself. Rather than being passive, it is better to take the initiative. Let's pretend to be advanced first, and then I'll talk with these guys. And Lin Yu's system has been promoted to the 2nd level, and he also has more capital. Definitely, there is one more thing. That is, for Lin Yu, the promotion of the system is the key to being comfortable in this world. The acquisition of plot points naturally has to rely on the power of S.H.I.E.L.D. In the Marvel world, S.H.I.E.L.D. is not the core though. But in S.H.I.E.L.D, there are countless supporting characters. A supporting role can add 1 plot point. So, what about 10? After Lin Yu met Phil Coulson and got a plot point, he was already full of yearning for S.H.I.E.L.D. Not the desire to join S.H.I.E.L.D, I simply want to take a tour. To go to S.H.I.E.L.D, Lin Yu only thought of one way. That is, pretending to be advanced. Let S.H.I.E.L.D take the initiative to invite yourself. Don't be nervous, Natasha Romanoff, come and sit down. Lin Yu took out a small bench from the shelf on the side as if to entertain his neighbors. Then, Lin Yu looked at the Phil Coulson agent next to Natasha Romanoff, and then said like an old friend, "There is also Phil Coulson, come sit down too, you are welcome." Said this sentence. It shocked Phil Coulson and Natasha Romanoff again. This guy not only knows his name, but also Phil Coulson's name. Oh my goodness. Who is he and why can he know our news? Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson looked at each other. Both of them saw strong vigilance in each other's eyes. This young man. Absolutely not ordinary. In fact, Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson are also very unusual. If ordinary people come to the store and hear Wanda ask if they want to buy something, they will be taken seriously. But Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson seem to be totally unaffected. It seems that the trick of the lucky cat is not easy to use on the two of them. Definitely. The mutation of the lucky cat is only a level 1 mutation. It is indeed somewhat reluctant to deal with these two specially trained agents. But it also suffices to show that these two people's willpower is much stronger than the others. But now these two professionally trained agents are a little confused. Facing Lin Yu's familiar appearance, the two seemed at a loss. At this moment, after Lin Yu brought the two small benches in front of them, he dragged out the gaming chair behind his bar. Then, he lay down directly on top, and cocked Erlang's legs. That look, be more comfortable if you want to be more comfortable. Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson looked at the small bench less than 30 centimeters high in front of them, and then at the comfortable chair under Lin Yu's buttocks that looked like a high-end gaming chair, and their heads were about to explode. Is this special kind of hospitality? Moreover, knowing the identities of the two, still dare to treat yourself like this? Is this confident, or self-confidence? But, thinking of their mission and the husky that would turn into a monster at any time, the two sat down obediently. This one sits down and makes a judgment. The two sat on a small bench, slightly cramped. And Lin Yu looks like I am the second child and no one dares to call him the boss. At this moment, Natasha Romanoff spoke again. Prepare to speak for the third time. This time. She has been interrupted twice, she has learned to be smart. She opened her mouth first, but did not make a sound. Then she looked at Lin Yu as if she didn't want to interrupt her thoughts, and then slowly said, Mr. Lin, how do you know our name? This is Natasha Romanoff's biggest concern. It is also what Phil Coulson cares most about. After asking this question, both of them pricked their ears, waiting for Lin Yu's answer. Lin Yu looked at the two men who seemed a little nervous and swayed, and said, You are all celebrities. I have seen you on TV, so naturally I know your names. Natasha Romanoff's face suddenly went dark. When have you been on TV? But, without waiting for Natasha Romanoff to ask anything, Lin Yu said again, Aren't you from the New York Revenue Department? Just that famous financial program. I remember seeing you there. What Lin Yu said was true. After Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson heard them, they were taken aback. Fart financial show. Shit tax office. This guy in Tomiao is completely talking nonsense with his eyes open. But, the two of them felt like they were completely led by their noses. The meaning of Lin Yu's words is obvious. It was the two who lied first, and Lin Yu continued to compose the lies of the two people, and it was considered to be a way of treating him. But, after that, Natasha Romanoff didn't know how to continue. Is it possible that you really want to talk to Lin Yu about tax issues? What's the point of this? It's all performances. I didn't get any useful news at all. Natasha Romanoff turned his head and glanced at Phil Coulson quietly. But, the expression on Phil Coulson's face is even more exciting. Obviously, facing Lin Yu's talents, he is also helpless. Natasha Romanoff's heart was cruel, and it was a showdown. Mr. Lin, please don't joke with us. We are not the New York Inland Revenue Department. It is true that we made a mistake in saying this. We apologize to you. Natasha Romanoff's tone was very sincere. Lin Yu is also very satisfied with this answer. It's easier to communicate by being honest. Hearing Natasha Romanoff's words, Lin Yu also scratched his head in embarrassment and said, Oh, this way. The picture on TV is not very clear, it may be that I am blinded. Natasha Romanoff smiled softly, not commenting on Lin Yu's words. Immediately afterwards, she continued, Mr. Lin, we are from S.H.I.E.L.D. This time we are here just for a visit. Don't mind. Phil Coulson next to Natasha Romanoff, his face suddenly changed after hearing these words. He didn't expect Natasha Romanoff to reveal their true identities. This is a bit inconsistent with the requirements of this operation. But, Natasha Romanoff seemed to have noticed Phil Coulson's shock, turned his head slightly, and gave him a look that was relieved. Compared to Phil Coulson's caution, it is clear that Natasha Romanoff is more relaxed. But, after Natasha Romanoff said these words, Lin Yu did not show the slightest surprise on his face. Natasha Romanoff secretly said in his heart, sure enough, this guy knows his identity. Simply. She didn't hide it, and asked directly, Mr. Lin, when we first entered the door, I heard you say Tony Stark's name. Do you have any thoughts about his disappearance? Hear what Natasha Romanoff said. Lin Yu was taken aback for a moment. He thought that the two S.H.I.E.L.D. high-level agents, Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson, came to him because of the dog's business. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be because of Tony Stark. Although Natasha Romanoff seemed to just ask casually. But, Lin Yu's two lives are not ordinary people. Naturally, she can feel the solemnity hidden under her casual appearance. After Lin Yu's brain turned, he quickly thought of the problem. Before Tony Stark disappeared, he bought all his belongings from the stocks of his old rival, Hanmer Industries. Soon after, Tony Stark disappeared. It seemed that he really had something to do with Tony Stark's disappearance. And, during this time, S.H.I.E.L.D. must have noticed himself because of the dog's affairs. At this time, his mobile phone suddenly did this kind of thing. It is reasonable for them to doubt themselves. Lin Yu frowned slightly. It seems to be thinking about how to solve this problem. Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson were not in a hurry, but sat on a small bench quietly waiting for Lin Yu's answer. 10 seconds later, the corners of Lin Yu's mouth suddenly turned up slightly, and then said with a smile, "Since you have found me, it is not my character to not help, Tony Stark, I will help you find." Lin Yu waved his hand and said proudly. This answer once again subverted the imagination of Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson. Are the two of you here seeking help? But how do you listen to him? He can help S.H.I.E.L.D. find Tony Stark. Mr. Lin, we. Natasha Romanoff wanted to explain that he was not here to ask for help. But Lin Yu stopped her again. Don't worry, I don't want benefits. Your S.H.I.E.L.D. is a good unit, helping our people create such a beautiful living environment. I voluntarily donate my weak power, Lin Yu said generously. Then, before Natasha Romanoff could say anything, Lin Yu kicked his feet directly and made the gaming chair turn a half circle. Shouted to the second floor, "Erha, come down to me." Lin Yu just finished speaking. At the entrance of the stairs on the second floor, Erha's plump figure appeared. But at the moment's Erha, the green on his body has disappeared. A body of black and white hair was exposed. Hearing Lin Yu's call, it hurriedly climbed from the stairs to Lin Yu's side. It seems that I am afraid that I will be educated by my master when I come late. At this moment, Lin Yu suddenly said to Erha, "Erha, I will give you a task now." Hearing that there was a task, Erha squatted down in front of Lin Yu in a hurry. Lin Yu pointed his finger at Natasha Romanoff and said, "You go find someone for this sister. Do you know that the nose is a little better?" Looking up at Lin Yu's Erha, he nodded ignorantly. It seems to understand some. Seeing this scene, whether it was Natasha Romanoff or Phil Coulson, all were shocked. This dog can actually understand human words. It's amazing. Natasha Romanoff didn't even realize what Lin Yu meant by sister. But faced with such an obedient Erha, Lin Yu seemed a little dissatisfied. He pointed to Erha's nose and said again, "I'll make your nose smarter, do you know?" Erha nodded again. But Lin Yu is still a little dissatisfied. It seems to be embarrassing. Even Natasha Romanoff thought the dog was a bit pitiful. Everyone clearly nodded, "So what do you want?" But Lin Yu was still reluctant, his eyes gradually narrowed. Holding Erha's chin with one hand, he lifted his head, and then stared at Erha's nose with his eyes tightly and said, "The nose is more slick, otherwise I won't give you food for 10 days. Aside, Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson were both stunned. This guy really has a problem with his brain. To such an obedient dog, it was so severe. Intimidate a pet dog. It's not human. Hearing this sentence, Erha seemed a little scared. If you don't eat for 10 days, what would it be like to be hungry? Erha's body began to tremble slightly, however. At this time, a smile suddenly appeared on Lin Yu's face. Because just when he threatened Erha, the prompt in my mind finally rang. Ding. Because your pet Erha is afraid of your threat, his nose has mutated and his sensitivity has increased tenfold. At the moment Lin Yu was in sight, a line of small print also appeared on Erha's nose. Name: Husky Nose Variation Direction, Sensitivity. Variation Level: Level 1 inch. Although it is only level 1, the dog's nose is already very sensitive. After it has increased tenfold, it shouldn't be a problem to help S.H.I.E.L.D. find Tony Stark. At the moment, Lin Yu finally proved his conjecture. Although he can't control the mutation around him, but it can be guided. At this moment, Lin Yu raised his foot again and kicked Erha's ass. Erha glanced at Lin Yu bitterly, then stood up reluctantly, and walked to Natasha Romanoff's face. Its little tail swayed slightly, seeming to please Natasha Romanoff. No woman can resist a cute pet like Erha. Even Natasha Romanoff is no exception. Although she knew that Erha might be the monster that almost destroyed most of the New York military base. But it looks a little cute now. Natasha Romanoff couldn't help but lean down, touched Erha's head, and interacted with Erha. This picture is beautiful and harmonious. Lin Yu couldn't help taking out a pair of glasses from his pocket and putting it on his face, for fear of missing this beautiful picture. It seems to be influenced by Natasha Romanoff. Lin Yu's face also showed a smile like a spring breeze. S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters. When I saw Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson coming back, with a plump husky behind them. Nick Fury is dumbfounded. Especially, this husky still looks familiar. "What's your situation?" Nick Fury asked suspiciously. "Didn't the two go out to perform the task? It's a bit early to come back. And what is the situation with this pet dog?" Looking at the puzzled S.H.I.E.L.D. director Nick Fury, Phil Coulson showed a wry smile on his face. In this mission, since they arrived at the grocery store, the two of them have been led by the nose by the guy named Lin Yu. Not only did he fail to complete any tasks, but he was also forcibly stuffed with a dogback. I simply lost the face of S.H.I.E.L.D. Compared to Phil Coulson, Natasha Romanoff has a thicker skin. She spread her hands and said with a wry smile, "The task is not completed, that guy is too difficult to deal with." Nick Fury frowned tightly when he heard Natasha Romanoff's words. "Difficult to deal with? Did you do it with him?" Nick Fury asked hurriedly. What he worries most is this. And, before Natasha Romanoff went to perform the task, he specifically emphasized that he must not offend that guy. "No, there is no chance to do it." Natasha Romanoff was crying without tears. "If you really do it, at least you can have a little more fun." But the actual situation is worse. The details of himself and Phil Coulson are completely clear to each other. Moreover, from beginning to end, he looked confident. The whole city opened its eyes and talked nonsense. "If you really do it, I'm afraid it's definitely me who is unlucky." "Come on. What happened between you and Lin Yu?" Nick Fury asked again. Natasha Romanoff quietly took 2 steps back, letting Phil Coulson out. Let Phil Coulson and Nick Fury talk about this kind of thing in detail. After a few minutes, Phil Coulson finally made it clear what happened. At this moment, Nick Fury's face has also become extremely gloomy. When was the agent information of S.H.I.E.L.D. exposed? And this perverted husky broke into the headquarters of S.H.I.E.L.D. so easily? Looking at the innocent faces of Phil Coulson and Natasha Romanoff, and then at the huskies squatting on the ground, wagging their tails, Nick Fury felt a little big head. This husky, if it goes wild in the S.H.I.E.L.D. base, it will be over. Since Lin Yu said that this dog can help him find Tony Stark, let him try. Moreover, only dogs who are not in the S.H.I.E.L.D. base are good dogs. In this case, you two take this pet dog to find Tony Stark, Nick Fury arranged directly. He looked at Erha, who seemed harmless to humans and animals, squatting on the ground, and ordered again, "Now, go now." Outside the United States, a deserted place. This is where the boss of Stark Industries, Tony Stark, last appeared before his disappearance. Here, the wreckage of several military off-road vehicles was bombed all over the ground. The scattered bullet shells and bullet holes that can be seen everywhere, all represent that a terrible battle has just happened here. At this moment, a total of 3 teams appeared on the scene at the same time. The 3 teams represent 3 different official departments. The largest of them is the unit of the United States military. They have a dozen armored vehicles and 3 helicopters. Almost hundreds of heavily armed soldiers are standing by. At the same time, their greatest reliance is 10 specially trained military dogs. These military dogs are all Labrador retrievers. Each of them is strong and full of momentum, and the most powerful thing about these military dogs is that they all have a stronger sense of sight and smell than ordinary dogs. In search tasks, they are the best among dogs. The second team has a slightly smaller number of people. They were all dressed in black, with grim faces. These people are FBI people. Each of them held a strange box in their hands. According to their own statement, this box is the latest technology product of Hammer Industries. A wide range of scans can be performed by collecting the biological characteristics of the human body. Although such equipment is expensive, but in order to find Tony Stark, FBI also paid for it. The last team is naturally S.H.I.E.L.D. compared to the other 2 teams. S.H.I.E.L.D. is not too famous. After all, the plot of the Marvel world has just begun, and many major events have not happened yet. S.H.I.E.L.D. has won without much chance to show up. Even the military and FBI have little knowledge of S.H.I.E.L.D. But when S.H.I.E.L.D.'s car came down with 2 people and 1 dog, the whole style of painting has changed. Those 2 were okay. But that dog, it's too weird. It turned out to be a husky. Still a fat husky. When I got off the car, I even staggered and rolled directly on the ground. This meow is to be funny. Whether it is the FBI people or the military soldiers, all are happy. This moment, even Phil Coulson feels that S.H.I.E.L.D. has lost his face. Definitely. The soldiers of the military and the men in black of FBI also only despised them in their hearts. A slight sneer appeared on his face, did not make any outrageous moves. After all, the task is important. The FBI person, holding the box in his hand, started to operate it on the spot. The soldiers of the United States Army, led by 10 military dogs, searched for Tony Stark's trace among the wreckage. It looks extremely professional. As for Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson on the S.H.I.E.L.D. side, they are a little at a loss. They are not professional search and rescue personnel. The above asked S.H.I.E.L.D. to come out to find Tony Stark, but he just went to the doctor in a hurry. Not to mention, Not only the two of them don't understand, but S.H.I.E.L.D don't understand. At the moment, seeing everyone else getting busy, S.H.I.E.L.D is still lying quietly on the ground, seeming to be enjoying the sun. The other side. While searching for the smell of Tony Stark, the military dogs looked in the direction of the huskies from time to time. This Labrador retriever has high intelligence. It is said to be comparable to 5 or 6-year-old children. At the moment, seeing a husky pet dog came to join in the fun, they looked at S.H.I.E.L.D with contempt. A pet dog robbed his noble Labrador retriever for work? It's ridiculous. Naturally, human beings cannot see it. However, S.H.I.E.L.D and them are both dogs, but they can see clearly. But S.H.I.E.L.D didn't bother to pay attention to them. How can the blood of the noble three-headed dog of hell be familiar with these lower creatures? However, the performance of S.H.I.E.L.D made these army dogs even more proud. One by one, they held their heads high, seeming to be triumphant because of their noble blood. At this moment, watching other teams start to act, Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson looked at each other, then Phil Coulson took out a watch from his pocket. This watch was worn by Tony before. Phil Coulson put the watch slowly in front of S.H.I.E.L.D's nose. The meaning is obvious, I want S.H.I.E.L.D to smell it. But after waiting for a while, the two found that S.H.I.E.L.D was unmoved. And from S.H.I.E.L.D's nostrils, the voice of Roar Lou came out. What's going on? Fell asleep. The faces of Phil Coulson and Natasha Romanoff suddenly all showed a bitter look. This dog is as difficult to deal with as his master. Natasha Romanoff sighed deeply, then returned to the car. After a while, he actually took out a chicken leg. Orleans taste. Finally, S.H.I.E.L.D's eyes opened. The nose began to twitch. Far away, 10 Labrador retrievers raised their heads at the same time and looked in the direction of S.H.I.E.L.D. In their eyes, there was no more arrogance, but a trace of envy. This all works. A dog is better than a dog, annoyed a dog. However, they looked at the soldiers who were holding the dog chains around them, but they all dispelled the idea of a strike. Fate is different. After swallowing the chicken legs in Natasha Romanoff's hands into his stomach in one bite, the spirit of S.H.I.E.L.D came in an instant, sniffed twice on that watch. Then he moved his fat body and climbed into the car again. Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson looked at each other and went to the car. At this moment, S.H.I.E.L.D suddenly stretched out his front paws and pointed to the west. The meaning is obvious. The goal is in the west. 2 hours later, after a long journey, Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson finally drove to the vicinity of a dilapidated village. Far away, the two stopped the car. Phil Coulson took his binoculars and looked at the village in the distance. According to the direction pointed out by S.H.I.E.L.D, the target seems to be in that village. But after Phil Coulson looked through the binoculars for a while, he frowned slightly. This village looks very ordinary, but he could see the groups of soldiers holding weapons inside. At least there are hundreds of militants at this moment. Natasha Romanoff took the telescope and observed it for a while. This place turned out to be a base for terrorists. Although it is very simple, there are many personnel and weapons. To break through here, I am afraid that more support is needed. What should I do? Call the special service team in the bureau, or notify the soldiers of the military? Phil Coulson asked. Obviously, the armed forces here are beyond the range that the two can deal with. Although both of them are high-level agents, they are very strong. But they are not willing to take such a big risk. 2 people, 2 pistols, to harden the armed forces of hundreds of people is simply looking for death. But after hearing what Phil Coulson said, Natasha Romanoff did not answer. Her gaze suddenly turned to S.H.I.E.L.D, who was sitting in the back seat of the car, who was so bored. At the same time, Phil Coulson followed Natasha Romanoff's gaze and looked at S.H.I.E.L.D. He knew what Natasha Romanoff meant, but a husky, it is exaggerated to find Tony Stark 100 kilometers away along the smell. Let it deal with an armed force of hundreds of people? Phil Coulson has seen a video of the abomination of the 3-headed dogs in hell. I have also seen the Hulk S.H.I.E.L.D attacking a New York military base. But he still couldn't connect this somewhat chubby pet dog with the 2 monsters. How can this cute husky become that kind of monster? Does it really work? Phil Coulson's eyes were full of doubt. But just when Phil Coulson still had some hesitation in his heart, Natasha Romanoff has acted. She doesn't care about that much. Now the location of the target has been determined. Rescue the target as soon as possible is what they need to do the most. Roar is called the S.H.I.E.L.D Special Service Team, and it is estimated to be a long time. As for those soldiers, Natasha Romanoff couldn't bear it. Just now, when they saw S.H.I.E.L.D, the faint mockery and disdain in their expressions Natasha Romanoff could see clearly. It is impossible for them to share a piece of the pie. Natasha Romanoff is not a generous person. She came to the trunk, and after tumbling over and over, she brought out a big pot directly. In the big pot, all are chicken legs. Put the chicken drumsticks in front of Erha, and said to Erha, "You help me save the target. This pot of chicken drumsticks are all yours." There was a certain smile on Natasha Romanoff's face. "This 2 hectares, I like to eat chicken drumsticks." This was what Lin Yu told her before the grocery store left. But what puzzled Natasha Romanoff was that Erha didn't respond when faced with a big pot of chicken legs. "Isn't these rewards enough?" Natasha Romanoff suddenly became anxious. "What do you want to eat? I will buy it for you right away when I finish the task, as much as I want. How about that, when you help me rescue people, I will take you to the pet shop to pick a little bitch." Aside. Phil Coulson looked dumbfounded. Natasha Romanoff actually bargained with a dog. And the most terrifying thing is that the dog turned out to be ignorant. Its eyes are full of disdain. Yes, just disdain. This husky can definitely understand Natasha Romanoff's words. However, none of these conditions can satisfy him. Looking at this, Phil Coulson's worldview began to faintly shake. Is this the Earth that I understand? Natasha Romanoff was also anxious. This dog is too difficult to serve. Can be called oil and salt do not enter. Finally, Natasha Romanoff's heart slammed and changed his approach. "You are so passive and sabotage, be careful, I will go back and sue your master," Natasha Romanoff said viciously. Hearing this sentence, Erha's expression immediately changed. Before it mutated, its owner had been bullying it, using it to deceive the feelings of those ignorant girls. After the mutation, because of the system, it has a natural fear of Lin Yu who has the system. Now when I heard that this big brainless woman was about to sue Erha can be terrified. His head hurriedly lit up like a rattle. Before Natasha Romanoff had any reaction, Erha's head suddenly became bigger. And the whole body appeared dark red. There was a big mouth in the blood basin, and even the basin and drumsticks were swallowed all at once. In this scene, Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson hurriedly jumped out of the car. Really, this dog was the monster who swallowed his hatred head that day. This time, the two finally saw the scene transformed. Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson looked at each other, and both saw a sense of horror in each other's eyes. At that moment, they could feel the sudden increase in temperature in the air. Although it was only a moment, they already felt that there was a smell of burnt on their hair and eyebrows. That temperature is really terrible, but just when the two jumped out of the car and waited quietly. A few seconds later, Erha's fat body finally rolled off the car slowly. It has become the original appearance again. Dragging his bloated body, Erha wandered towards the distant village. As I walked, I didn't forget to look back at Natasha Romanoff. There seemed to be a message in its eyes. Do not forget our agreement. Natasha Romanoff's heart trembled suddenly. This dog. It seems really not easy to fool. In the village, a group of militants are gathering together, smoking cigarettes and chatting. Sudden. A somewhat fat husky suddenly came out from the corner on the side. The eyes of these militants lit up. A hint of surprise suddenly appeared on his face. In this place where birds do not shit, as long as it is a piece of meat, it can make people drool. What's more, it's a chubby pet dog. They are a group of frenzied terrorists, and they don't have the slightest psychological burden to shoot ordinary people. What's more, it's a delicious dog. One of the militants directly took up the weapon in his hand and aimed at Erha's head. The teammates next to him also showed a salivating expression. Seem. A delicious meal is beckoning to them. At the moment, in a well-defended cave, Tony Stark is discussing how to escape with his difficult brother, Dr. Ethan. Not long after coming to this cave, Tony thought of a way. There is a lot of knowledge stored in his mind. So, soon, a sketch of a steel armor was completed. If you make this steel armor according to the design on this sketch, you will definitely be able to escape from this place. Seeing this design drawing, Dr. Ethan was shocked. It only took less than a day. Tony Stark made a new type of energy source to replace the electromagnet on his chest. At the same time, he thought of a way to escape. He admired Tony Stark's ability, so it made him firm in his determination to follow Tony. But just when the two were discussing how to start making steel armor, they seemed to hear terrible explosions, gunfire, and noisy roar shouts from outside. There was a fight outside. Tony was overjoyed. What kind of steel armor is still being made? Regardless of who is beating who is outside, taking advantage of this chaos, running out is the kingly way. And at the moment, outside the cave, has completely turned into a sea of AA flames. The huge body of the three-headed dog of hell appears again. The flames of horror are everywhere. Even if he didn't touch the body of the three-headed hell dog, the dry branches began to burn. The ground began to appear charred. Countless militants fled in all directions. Some fled to the distance and attacked the three-headed dog from hell. But the bullets melted before they touched its body. It can't cause any harm at all, and at the moment, under the high temperature, the guys who were going to turn S.H.I.E.L.D into dinner have been roasted. The three heads of hell have three heads, and they opened their mouths at the same time. One bite. It's as easy as eating peanuts. This scene. This group of militants was completely shocked. They have seen such terrifying creatures there. For a time, all the militants ran away one after another, for fear that they would become the dinner of this terrifying monster. Far away, Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson were holding binoculars in their hands, and they looked at the terrifying picture with horror. Although the distance is far away, and they have seen the three-headed hell dog fighting with abomination from the video. But what you see in the video is completely different from the reality. Only when you are on the scene can you understand how desperate it is in front of such a monster. At the same time, they finally understood how abnormal a guy who can kick this monster around all day long should be. At the moment, in the cave, Ethan and Tony Stark came quietly to the door that locked them. This gate, made entirely of steel, is very strong. If you want to rely on your own strength, it may be difficult to open this door. But when the two walked to the door, there was a violent knock on the ground from outside the door. Boom, boom, boom. It seems that some terrifying monster is walking towards this cave step by step. The two hurried back 2 steps in fright. This sound, every time it sounds, can shake the cave slightly. The gravel on the top of the head is constantly falling. Finally, the voice stopped. The two of them looked nervously in the direction of the door, and suddenly an uneasy emotion arose in their hearts. At this time, the door in front of him exudes a terrifying heat. Immediately afterwards, it turned red unexpectedly. Finally, slowly melt. The two were terrified. What kind of high temperature can melt such a large iron gate? They hurried back. In addition, he found some bunkers and hid him, only showing a pair of eyes looking in the direction of the cave gate in horror. The gate of the cave has not completely turned into a pool of molten iron. Because, just at this time, a terrifying head suddenly knocked out a hole in the iron gate with huge amounts of. Then, a giant got into the cave. That huge amounts of head completely covers the entire hole. It looks like a huge dog head burning with dark red flames. In its mouth, red molten iron is continuously flowing to the ground, like flowing magma. Basketball file sizes 2 eyes seem to be looking for something in the cave. Just being stared slightly by that eye, Ethan fainted in fright. In those eyes, there seems to be a sea of dead mountains and blood, which is infinitely terrifying. Tony's situation is a little better, but it's not better. His spirit almost collapsed. He just watched less than 2 seconds longer than Ethan. I felt that my eyes seemed to be burning, and his body was already full of burnt smell. The hair became twisted, and the eyebrows began to curl up one by one. Tony wanted to cry without tears, immediately afterwards. Also imitating Ethan's appearance, fainted in shock. S.H.I.E.L.D, who was transformed into a three-headed dog from hell, shoved his head into the cave. And the moment when Tony Stark was found, Lin Yu, who was in the grocery store on 58th Avenue in New York, finally received the system prompt. Ding. Congratulations to the host for participating in the Marvel plot, Iron Man is Born, and earning 2 plot points. Please the host to continue their efforts. Ding. Warm reminder. The story of Iron Man is Born is one of the important early Marvel plots. The host himself will get 5 points of respect for participating in it, but since the host himself is not on the scene, he can only get 2 points. 2 system prompts sounded one after another. Lin Yu was excited at first, but then, a little speechless. Unexpectedly, I missed 3 plot points. System. What exactly is the rule for acquiring plot points? Lin Yu asked with some confusion. Only by knowing the rule, Lin Yu can analyze the pros and cons and choose the best solution. Hearing Lin Yu's question, the system quickly gave an answer. A blue panel appeared in Lin Yu's line of sight. On the panel, various rules obtained by plot points are listed in detail. The first time I saw a general supporting role, such as S.H.I.E.L.D high-level agent Phil Coulson, the plot point is +1. The first time I saw the core protagonist, such as Natasha Romanoff, etc., plot point +2. Participate in some core plots, such as The Birth of Iron Man, plot point +5. Participate in general plots, such as Stark Industry Conference, plot points +2. In addition, the participation of the plot and whether the host is on the scene will also affect the acquisition of plot points. Seeing this, Lin Yu probably already understood how to upgrade his infinite mutation system. If you want to upgrade, you must be deeply involved in various important events in Marvel. And it is best to participate in person. Otherwise, the plot points gained will be greatly reduced. But now that Iron Man is already in place, the story of the Marvel world has basically begun to explode. A smile appeared on Lin Yu's face. Next, you will get more plot points, and the level of the system will be quickly improved. Brother, what are you laughing at? At this time, Wanda appeared suddenly and slapped Lin Yu on the shoulder severely. After the last embarrassment, Wanda seems to have recovered. After all, she was a blessing in disguise. Her body has undergone great changes. At the age of only 16, the body is already perfectly developed. Even compared to Natasha Romanoff, it's not too much. Nothing to laugh, just think you are a lot more beautiful today, Lin Yu said with a grin. In fact, he can also say nice things. It's just that I have lived with Wanda for too long before and I have never paid attention to these things. Definitely, Lin Yu thinks there is no need. Wanda is just his sister, not a girlfriend. Yes. Hearing Lin Yu's words, Wanda smiled excitedly. And, turning around in place, showing off his graceful figure. This turn made Lin Yu's eyes straight. Originally, Wanda looks better than Natasha Romanoff. Now, the figure has become lordutic and warped. From now on, how could I be able to bear it, beast? Wanda is her own sister. Lin Yu gritted his teeth, resisting the impulse in his heart, and pulled back the hand that had just been inserted into the pocket of his clothes and was about to take out the perspective glasses. Do not. Cannot be like this. Wanda is still under adulthood. This is wrong. If you have to watch, if you really want to see. 2 years later, this is like Lin Yu's last stubbornness. Seeing Lin Yu's face seemed a bit unpleasant. Wanda hurriedly asked, "Brother, what's the matter with you?" "It's nothing." How dare Lin Yu say what he was thinking just now? But Wanda seemed to have thought of something. She hurriedly asked, "Brother, it's not the stock that has a problem. The dollar is everything to her. Yesterday, she put all her savings into the stock account. If something goes wrong, she will definitely go crazy." Hearing Wanda's words, Lin Yu hurriedly waved his hand and said, "No, don't worry, there will be no problems." At this point, Lin Yu dare not play any careful thoughts. Turn on the phone in a hurry. Click to open the stock trading software. The two studied again. At the moment, Lin Yu still holds all shares of Hanmer Industries in his account. Yesterday, Hanmer Industries had its daily limit. Wanda's more than $50,000 has also increased by 10% in one day. At the moment, the funds in Lin Yu's account still hold all shares of Hanmer Industries. But the trend of Hanmer Industries today does not seem to be very good. Lin Yu clicked on his phone a few times and opened the shares of Stark Industries. At the moment, the news that Tony had been rescued had spread. The shares of Stark Industries seemed to have rebounded. But seeing this, Lin Yu's mouth suddenly showed a smile. Rebound. Only temporarily. It is estimated that it will fall into a trough soon. Because Lin Yu remembers it clearly. After Tony Stark was rescued, the first press conference held directly announced that Stark Industries would no longer make weapons. This is a disaster for a military enterprise that started by manufacturing weapons. Don't fall, blame it. Just when Lin Yu and Wanda were studying stocks with their heads down. In the grocery store, another visitor came, but these guests seemed to be regular customers. Wanda recognized the people in front of him at a glance. The one at the front has a red pigtail on his head, and the two at the back, one fat and one thin. Isn't it the three well-dressed but polite guys that day? But they were not the only three who came to the store today. Behind them, there were also a dozen other guys who were also a little bit irritable. Especially the one in the lead. The top of his head is bare, his muscles can be clearly seen through the coat, and the neck and half of his face are all tattooed. This appearance seems to be for fear that others will not know that he is a triad. As soon as he entered the door, this fierce fellow kicked the red-braided man's ass. He kicked him directly. "It's just that this shop didn't pay the protection fee, and it ruined you $50. The guy said viciously to the red-pigtailed man. Hearing this sentence, Lin Yu understood. Obviously these people are members of the gang. It's here to collect the protection fee, but at this moment, the man with red pigtails who was kicked hesitated and said, "Brother Chang, although they didn't pay the protection fee, they really didn't ruin me. Those things are not expensive for $50. Until now, the man with red pigtails is still talking for Lin Yu and Wanda. It's amazing. Those things are expensive, Lin Yu and Wanda know best. Lin Yu couldn't help but glanced back at the beckoning cat that had been enshrined in the middle of the house, and couldn't help but secretly gave a thumbs up. This lucky cat is really a god. If you lied to other people's money, you can still make people speak good things for themselves under such a lot of pressure. It's a miracle. At this moment, the bald man called Brother Chang made his face even more ugly when he heard these words. He glanced at the other two people and asked fiercely, "Do you think it is expensive?" Upon hearing this question, the two obviously struggled. It seems that a difficult choice is being made between conscience and threat. But just then, Lin Yu suddenly caught sight of the lucky cat's eyes, which seemed to light up a little. Immediately afterwards, two guys, one fat and one thin, suddenly seemed to have figured it out. Standing up straight, righteously said, "Not expensive." They can't ignore their conscience. Even in the face of power, it won't work. It's not expensive to go to you. Brother Chang was completely angry. He pulled out a baseball bat from his waist and hit the two of them. "Slap your head and cover your face. The means are cruel." Even the man with red pigtails was not spared. The scene was extremely bloody for a while. Almost the entire baseball bat was dyed red. It wasn't until the three of them were dying to lie on the ground that Brother Chang threw the baseball bat aside. This scene. Lin Yu and Wanda are almost dumbfounded. As soon as he walked in, he beat his little brother half to death without saying a word. What kind of routine is this? Are gangs collecting protection fees popular and selling miserable? Wanda was also a little confused. She also saw that these people didn't seem to be here to buy things. It's the local gangster. Wanda had been in contact with the gangster when she was in the orphanage. But the gangsters at that time looked very friendly. After all, many children from places like orphanages will join the gang. Therefore, the local gangs bully everyone, but they will not bully the orphanage. Even sometimes, some money and materials are donated to the orphanage. It's just for the children who go out in the orphanage in the future to have a greater chance to join their gang. So, at the moment Wanda saw the gang members and was not afraid. On the contrary, there is a touch of intimacy. At this moment, after educating his three little brothers, Brother Chang moved forward slowly. There was a trace of hideousness on his face. It seems that this appearance can make him look a little more terrifying. At this moment, Lin Yu suddenly touched Wanda's arm and said, "Sister, ask them to buy something." Wanda was taken aback. This group of people is obviously not here to buy things. But Wanda still trusts Lin Yu 100%. "Do whatever your brother is called." Wanda straightened her chest, stood in front, and said, "You guys, what are you going to buy?" The whole grocery store suddenly fell into the audible silence of needles. Shopping? These two brothers and sisters are crazy. Don't they see? Are we here for trouble? Haha, after receiving the protection fee, can't we get it for free? What to buy? The gang members standing at the door all laughed. Especially the strong brother, who had already walked to the bar, showed an extremely cruel expression on his face. "Little girl, I have never spent money to buy what my strong brother wants. Little girl, I have never spent money to buy what my strong brother wants." Brother Bald Chang seems to be very proud of his behavior. It seems that this is a very glorious thing, but just when the words came down, suddenly the system prompt sounded in Lin Yu's mind. Ding. Your lucky cat felt a strong sense of crisis when he heard the words of Brother Chang. If everyone buys things without spending money, how should the lucky cat reflect their value? So the lucky cat decided, once again, to improve your wealth, everyone who enters the grocery store must leave money. Hearing this voice, Lin Yu was overjoyed again. The strongest mutant item around him has been upgraded again. At this moment, Lin Yu quietly glanced at the lucky cat next to him. It is still the same as before, beckoning tirelessly. The smile on the cat's face remained unchanged. But the small print on the top of its head is different from before. Originally just a level 1 mutant lucky cat, at the moment has become a second order. Name: Lucky Cat. Variation direction: Lucky function. Variation level: second order. Variation status: the lucky cat felt the sense of crisis and cancelled the trigger language. In addition to the owner of the grocery store, it is mandatory for anyone who enters the grocery store to buy some goods and must pay. See this description. Lin Yu suddenly became happy. The second order mutant lucky cat is more powerful than before. At this time, I am afraid that elite agents such as Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson have come, and they have to spend some money before they can leave, right? Under certain circumstances, the second order lucky cat is even stronger than S.H.I.E.L.D. Really, it's worthy of being the strongest mutant item under his hand. Lin Yu's heart became more and more excited. At this moment, Lin Yu smiled and looked at the bald strong brother and asked, "Are you really not going to buy something?" Lin Yu's words stunned the other party. Not only Brother Chang, but all the gang members behind him were taken aback. It seems that there is a strange thought occupying their thoughts. Especially the strong brother at the forefront. He looked at the goods on the surrounding shelves. It was like a dog saw a bone. In his heart, he also began to think. I went to this grocery store all the way, isn't it because it is good and cheap? Those three little brothers had already told themselves very clearly. The things sold here are all fine products, and the price is not expensive. Looking at it now, they are all good things. What about hesitation? Brother Chang turned his head and hurriedly recruited Roar's own brothers, and said, don't froze, buy whatever you want. A group of brawny men, Roar, all rushed to the shelf. And selected them carefully. Even the dying three people who had been beaten by the bald strong brother lying on the ground struggled to crawl to the next shelf. On the ground, 3 scarlet bloodstains were dragged out. This scene. Not only was Wanda dumbfounded. Even Lin Yu, who knows the inside story, can't stand it. This meow is crazy. The red hair on the ground, the bones on the calf are all exposed. He couldn't stop his desire to shop, too crazy. The second-order mutant Lucky Cat is simply a devil. But a strange smile suddenly appeared at the corner of Lin Yu's mouth. I like this Lucky Cat, Lin Yu secretly said in his heart. At the moment, Wanda, who was standing beside Lin Yu, hid behind Lin Yu in fear. She is not afraid of those fierce gang members. Rather, he was afraid of the 3 guys on the ground who had almost become blood people. Their appearance is really miserable. Brother, does my mouth have magical powers? How come every time I ask people if they can buy something, no one has refused it? Wanda had already discovered some weird things. But she didn't think about the Lucky Cat. Rather, he felt that there was some mutation in his body. Some places suddenly became bigger, some places suddenly became thinner, and even the mouth became incredible. Lin Yu petted Wanda's hair and said with a smile, yes, I also think your mouth is magical. However, I feel that let's help the 3 customers first, don't let them run around, otherwise we will have to work hard to clean. Lin Yu finally couldn't bear to let the 3 miserable guys continue crawling on the ground. Lin Yu took Wanda and walked slowly in front of the 3 of them. He lowered his head, bent down, and asked softly, 3, what do you want to buy? I will help you get it. Although I can't bear it. But when people want to buy something, Lin Yu can't stop it cruelly. As a merchant, it is really cruel to stop a customer from buying goods. I have to say that Lin Yu's consciousness is still very high. For these 3 miserable guys, Lin Yu took his little sister and the 2 went into battle. In order to enable the disabled to buy their favorite products, the 2 of them have to work hard to shuttle between the shelves. This scene touched the 3 people on the ground. If it weren't for their own bodies now, they even wanted to give Lin Yu a pennant. Right on the pennant, conscientious businessmen, young people are not deceived. Except for Lin Yu and Wanda who are helping the 3 guys on the ground to choose goods, no one else is idle. From time to time, they picked up the goods on the shelf and looked carefully. Sometimes I consult with my companions, it feels like visiting the antique market. In the grocery store, the atmosphere is harmonious for a while, and it is full of joy. In the whole room, there seemed to be only the Lucky Cat that was placed at the door, with 2 faint flashes of red light in his eyes, which was a little weird. But such a clear red light, but no gang member noticed it. Lin Yu and Wanda saw it. But both of them were busy helping the 3 people choose products, and they didn't have the time and energy to care about it. Just then, outside the door, 2 figures suddenly appeared. 1 man and 1 woman. The man is wearing a black suit and sunglasses on his face. The woman wore a black tights, highlighting her graceful figure. Behind them was a husky pet dog. These 2 people, who have completed the task, came to return the dog's S.H.I.E.L.D. high-level agents, Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson. Once in the door, the 2 were shocked. On the ground in front of me. 3 bright red blood dragged on the ground for a long time. At the end of the 3 blood, there are 3 men who seem to have no good place all over. Of the 3 of them, some of their arms were broken, and some of their heads were full of blood. The most serious one, the leg bones are already exposed. But looking at the expressions of the 3 people, they didn't seem to feel any pain at all. There are happy smiles on their faces. In front of each of them, there are several commodities. The eyes of the 3 of them were on the ordinary commodities that were gathered in front of them. Seem. Those commodities, what are the delicacies of mountains and seas? Make them salivate. In addition to these 3 people, the small grocery store was also crowded with at least a dozen men of stout figure. Judging from their appearance, they look like gangsters. But these guys are actually choosing the goods on the shelves comfortably. Just like a good baby, the scene is extremely peaceful. But This picture is completely different in the eyes of Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson. Those brawny men who are shopping are like marionettes, and the smiles on their faces are almost the same. The piece of fart. It's just weird. Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson suddenly felt that they were a little bad. Fortunately, this is broad daylight. If it was at night, even with the knowledge of the two, it would definitely be scared to death. Although both of them are high-level agents, dealing with ordinary gangs is simply cutting melons and vegetables. But, faced with such a weird situation, they were completely helpless. At this moment, S.H.I.E.L.D behind the two of them didn't care about this picture at all. He shook his tail vigorously and ran to Lin Yu behind the shelf. Under the influence of the system, S.H.I.E.L.D is not only afraid of Lin Yu, but also has a strong sense of dependence on Lin Yu. It didn't see it for a day, and it felt like it missed it. In 3 or 2 steps, he ran to Lin Yu's feet and rubbed Lin Yu's calf. But Lin Yu obviously didn't think twice. He kicked S.H.I.E.L.D's ass and mumbled, "Go away, don't bother me to choose products for the guests. After all, making money is the most important thing." S.H.I.E.L.D was taken aback and didn't care at all. He turned his head and ran to Wanda's side again, acting like a baby. However, compared to Lin Yu, Wanda is more fascinated by making money. He didn't even look at S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D slapped and rolled on the ground for a few seconds before he discovered the problem. Without being discouraged, it ran to the table where the lucky cat was placed in 3 or 2 steps. With the help of Lin Yu's gaming chair, he climbed to the side of the lucky cat. A dog and a cat, playing happily. Seem. Both masters are busy at work. In the whole room, only Lucky Cat is willing to interact with S.H.I.E.L.D. Looking at the beckoning cat's little hand that kept waving, S.H.I.E.L.D sat down beside the beckoning cat. At this moment, Lin Yu finally seemed to react back. Hastily walked out from behind the shelf. Sure enough, 2 old friends came. A smile immediately appeared on Lin Yu's face. He patted the dust on his hands lightly, then took out his glasses from his jacket pocket and put them on. Then, he stretched out his hand to Natasha Romanoff. "Congratulations, with my great help, I successfully completed the task," Lin Yu said to Natasha Romanoff without squinting his eyes. Hearing Lin Yu's words, Natasha Romanoff's face suddenly showed a trace of embarrassment. Indeed, the biggest contribution of this mission is S.H.I.E.L.D. Lin Yu can be considered a great help, but do I need to take the initiative to speak out? Natasha Romanoff felt embarrassed for Lin Yu. But there was no trace of embarrassment on Lin Yu's face. On the contrary, there seemed to be a weird smile on his face. It looks a bit squinted. The eyes behind those glasses seem to have been staring at his chest. Why doesn't he look at his face when he wants to shake hands? Natasha Romanoff was a little disgusted. However, reach out and don't hit the smiley person. Besides, this time Lin Yu really helped a lot. She had to stretch out her hand, ready to hold Lin Yu gently. But just then, wait. A figure suddenly jumped out from behind Lin Yu and jumped directly between Lin Yu and Natasha Romanoff. Wanda was full of anger, facing his old brother, with his back to Natasha Romanoff, preventing the two of them from shaking hands. Her eyes were full of vigilance. That woman looked like a little fairy. Letting her chat with her old brother is already her greatest tolerance, physical contact is not enough. Seeing Wanda suddenly come out to stop, Lin Yu's face is black. He hurriedly took off his glasses, and said angrily, "What do you want to do? It won't work." Faced with the anger of the older brother, Wanda didn't mind at all. She is determined, and it is absolutely impossible for the two to have physical contact. Wanda and Lin Yu looked at each other and were at a stalemate. But less than 10 seconds, in the end, Lin Yu was defeated. Withdraw his hand angrily, turned around. It seemed that the figure grew older in an instant. "Hey, please recruit roar these 2 guests, I'm tired," Lin Yu said lightly. It seems a bit tired. The 18-year-old body seemed to have endured endless vicissitudes. Lin Yu held the handrails of the stairs and walked slowly towards the 2nd floor. At this moment, Wanda's voice suddenly came from behind again. "Then I will hire a guest from Roar, go and clean the toilet." Lin Yu, who was on the stairs, suddenly staggered. Almost fell off the stairs. There was no tears in his heart. "I wanted to take the opportunity to lie in bed for a break, but I didn't realize it," but Wanda saw his purpose. Standing in the middle of the stairs, Lin Yu suddenly speeded up. He rushed to the 2nd floor in an instant. Disappeared in the eyes of everyone. On the 1st floor, Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson both watched all this blankly. An extremely strong sense of powerlessness rose in his heart. This guy, why not act in a movie? Just now, they even felt that Lin Yu was really much older. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be acting. It's so funny, no wonder the two of them were completely led by his nose the first time they came. It turned out to be a dramatist. At this time, Wanda finally turned around and faced Natasha Romanoff. Her eyes are full of vigilance. Wanda squinted his eyes and said in his heart, "This woman, the person who came is not kind, she must defend her sovereignty." As a spy for many years, Natasha Romanoff naturally saw the hostility in Wanda's eyes. Combine those farce between Lin Yu brothers and sisters. Natasha Romanoff understood the cause and effect the first time. Original. Was he regarded as a love rival by Wanda? A slight smile appeared on Natasha Romanoff's face. This is easy. It's okay to comfort a little sister with one's own emotional intelligence. Little sister, your brother can't be interesting to me, I'm very old. Natasha Romanoff said half-jokingly, seemingly not minding his age. Wanda suddenly curled his lips and said coldly, "In this society, is it still rare for old cows to eat tender grass?" Natasha Romanoff was taken aback for a moment, and continued without changing her face. "Don't worry, I don't have any thoughts about your brother. That doesn't mean that my brother has no idea about you." Natasha Romanoff was already a little speechless. She looked at Wanda's figure, and then seemed to have made a lot of determination, and said, "I am not as beautiful as you, and your brother will not think of me. But you wear tights every time you come." Natasha Romanoff's mentality is about to collapse, frowning and saying, "Well, I won't come to you again from now on. If there is anything in the future, let Phil Coulson come over." Natasha Romanoff was completely useless. "Is this your trick called retreat for advancement?" Wanda's face remained cold. "I'm a little hot, I want to buy a fan," Natasha Romanoff said. She felt that her mentality was about to explode. Hearing that Natasha Romanoff had to go shopping, Wanda's face improved. And Phil Coulson, who has not spoken, finally expressed his opinion at this time. "Well, I still lack a comb, I just bought it from you." For a time, the whole grocery store became happy again. In Wanda's eyes, Natasha Romanoff also smoothly changed from a competitor to a customer. A smile appeared on her face again. "This time, we must slaughter these two guys." Wanda has decided that no matter what they buy, they will increase the price by 100 times. The old man always said that he was black, so he was black to show him. There was a long line in front of the counter in the grocery store. There is an endless stream of people who check out. Even Phil Coulson and Natasha Romanoff had to be at the bottom of the line. As for Lin Yu, he still hasn't been able to relax. He was called by Wanda to help the 3 customers on the ground check out. The 3 were moved by Lin Yu's warm service. Bare his teeth and said that he will definitely visit again in the future. After half an hour, the checkout is finally over. In the grocery store, only Phil Coulson and Natasha Romanoff were left. Wanda stood behind the bar with a happy smile on his face. This wave of guests was really generous. There are not many products purchased, but they have brought thousands of dollars in income to the small shop. It can be called the black shop in the black shop. Even Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson didn't know whether it was because of the influence of the lucky cat or the two were willing to pay a lot of money before they took away a fan and a comb. At this moment, wearing the most beloved glasses, Lin Yu, who was a little gentle, finally stood safely in front of Natasha Romanoff. Wanda, who has just received thousands of dollars in income, is counting money at this time, but has no time to care about Lin Yu and Natasha Romanoff. Definitely. Lin Yu still did not reach out his hand. It's good to talk in person and forget about physical contact. After all, Wanda is nearby. When she saw it, she would cry, make trouble, and beat people again. "Erha didn't mess with you, right?" Lin Yu said with a smile. Natasha Romanoff smiled slightly and said, "No, thank you Erha, otherwise we won't find Tony's position so quickly." Natasha Romanoff finally breathed a sigh of relief. This young man named Lin Yu finally spoke normally. Moreover, after putting on the glasses, he looks more bookish. It seems like a person has changed. Attitude has also improved a lot. "Well, that's good. I don't know how Mr. Tony Stark is physically and whether he is injured." Lin Yu seemed a little worried. Natasha Romanoff said with a smile, "There should be no big problem, he is already on his way back, and he is expected to be there later." Tony's speed was a little slower due to physical reasons. After finding Tony, Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson came to Lin Yu's place quickly in order to send Erha away as soon as possible. At this moment, Lin Yu suddenly lowered his head and looked down. He was hesitant to speak, and seemed a little embarrassed to speak. Natasha Romanoff seemed to see that Lin Yu had something to say, and hurriedly said, "It's okay, you helped us so much. If there is anything you can tell me directly, if I can help, I will definitely help." Hearing Natasha Romanoff's words, Lin Yu finally raised his head again. But he still didn't look into Natasha Romanoff's eyes. but to look at. There is nothing too big, that is, I have always admired Mr. Tony Stark. I heard that Stark Industries is going to hold a press conference. I want to see it in person. Lin Yu said in a low voice. Hearing only this request, Natasha Romanoff also breathed a sigh of relief. Just now, when she said that, she regretted a bit. In case Lin Yu makes some strange requests, it's really not easy to step down. It's good now. Just go to the press conference of Stark Industries, it's easy. Natasha Romanoff smiled slightly and said, this is easy to handle. I'll ask someone to send you an invitation letter when I turn around. Really? This kind of thing is quite simple for S.H.I.E.L.D. Hearing Natasha Romanoff's words, Lin Yu smiled and stretched out his hand to grab Natasha Romanoff's little hand, and thanked excitedly. It's really great, thank you so much, I can finally see my idol. Elder brother. Let me go. At this moment, a roar suddenly interrupted Lin Yu's thoughts. Wanda jumped and turned over directly from the bar. Her body is flexible like a monkey. Lin Yu was so scared that he hurriedly let go and fled. And Wanda, standing in front of Natasha Romanoff again, puffed up his chest, and said, after shopping, you can go now? Lin Yu came on the stairs, but suddenly the system reminder sounded in his mind. Ding. Your bar has felt a great threat, and learned to automatically repair the function. When it is damaged, it will automatically return to its original appearance. Lin Yu stood in the middle of the stairs for a moment. He turned his head and looked at the bar below. How could the bar be threatened? Where is it hurt? After taking a closer look, Lin Yu was shocked. At the moment, on the tabletop of the bar, a palm print is slowly recovering. The palm print has a little purple on it. The color is exactly the same as when Wanda releases Scarlet Witch ability in the movie. At the moment, in the grocery store, not only Lin Yu found the anomaly. Even Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson felt a little weird. Although Wanda usually does roar, she actually looks like a weak girl. But her skill just now was too agile. With a light support with one hand, he jumped out from behind the bar. Clean and neat. Even high-level agents such as Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson can't help but admire them. If you switch to two people, you can naturally make such moves. But Natasha Romanoff is fine. Phil Coulson may not be able to do so easily. And Wanda's previous performance was not like this. Both of them turned their heads at the same time and looked at the bar. On the bar, a handprint that was slowly disappearing appeared in the sight of the two. Compared to Lin Yu, they were even more surprised. The little girl in front of me is obviously not the kind of weak little girl they imagined. Because even Natasha Romanoff would never make a handprint on that bar so easily. Although the bar is made of wood. Moreover, the moment Wanda jumped out just now, she definitely didn't use much effort. Oh my. What monsters are in this grocery store? An elder brother of a dramatist, a sister of a strange force, a husky who turns into a monster at any time, and a customer who wants to buy something while dragging a broken leg. Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson were completely blinded. They looked at the merchandise in their hands, and they were shocked for a while. There is definitely a problem with this shop. Except for the two of them who really want to buy things, those other customers seem to be controlled. Too frightening. Fortunately, I have a strong willpower. Fortunately, the things I buy are cheap and good quality products. Let's say goodbye first. Phil Coulson felt a little unbearable for the first time, and said weakly. Natasha Romanoff did not have the calmness of the past. The two quietly turned around and ran away. In a few seconds, it disappeared in the grocery store. Lin Yu pushed his glasses and watched Natasha Romanoff leave. When Natasha Romanoff's figure disappeared from the field of vision, Lin Yu seemed to take off his eyes a little bit reluctantly. Nowadays. What a wonderful day. Lin Yu smiled and felt comfortable. Sure enough, the Natasha Romanoff seen in the movie is not as intimate as the one seen in reality. Come down and clean, my brother. At this time, Wanda was still pinching her waist, looking at Lin Yu maliciously. Lin Yu's squint look just now was completely seen by her. Seeing the little girl's appearance, Lin Yu suddenly felt a little big head. Must find something to mix up the matter just now. Sister, have you noticed that there seems to be something wrong with our grocery store? Lin Yu deliberately lowered his voice and said. Speaking of this question, Wanda immediately came to his mind. Since she was a child, she has liked the weird things. And she has long discovered that there is a problem with this grocery store. Brother, I found out a long time ago. Lin Yu nodded slightly, and while walking down the stairs, he agreed. It seems that our grocery store is alive. Hearing Lin Yu's words, Wanda's eyes suddenly lit up. This is more exciting than she thought. On the other side, Lin Yu picked up a brand new hammer on the shelf and walked to the bar, and said, "Sister, look, let me knock on this bar." Boom. Lin Yu hit a big hole directly on the bar with a hammer. Immediately afterwards, what made Wanda extremely excited happened. The big hole knocked out by the hammer is slowly healing. See this scene. Wanda was so excited. Unexpectedly, such a weird thing happened around me. Wanda hurriedly took the hammer from Lin Yu's hand and knocked on the bar excitedly. Bang, 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 bang. The big holes are slowly healing. It's like the bar has Wolverine's ability. Bang, bang, bang. Wanda also knocked on the wooden floor excitedly. 3 big holes also appeared on the floor. Then, there was no movement at all. Brother, why didn't the floor recover by itself? Wanda asked suspiciously. Lin Yu was taken aback. It should be slower to react. Lin Yu frowned and said. Immediately afterwards, Lin Yu snatched the hammer from Wanda's hand and knocked it hard on the floor. Bang, bang, bang. While knocking, he muttered, "Hurry up and restore me as before, or I will knock you all into scum." Ding. Your floor is aware of the master's anger, and a trace of anxiety flashes in your heart. Awakening has a self-repair function with automatic cleaning ability. Brother, the floor is restored. Wanda pointed to the pits Lin Yu had knocked in surprise, and said excitedly. Not only that. Even the blood on the ground slowly disappeared, as if absorbed by the floor. It didn't take long. A S.H.I.E.L.D. agent sent Lin Yu an invitation letter. The invitation letter is very simple, with a few big characters written on it. Stark Industry Press Conference Invitation Letter. It also bears the official seal of Stark Industries. This kind of invitation letter is estimated to be easy to obtain. Because there is not even the name of the invitee. Obviously, anyone who has a relationship or the media can participate. But, Lin Yu doesn't matter, as long as you can get in. Lin Yu wanted to participate in this press conference, not because he was really a fan of Tony Stark. It's because, there is a plot point to get it. Now, the power of the system has begun to show its signs. Although only Tier 2 is available, Lin Yu already feels a little omnipotent. If you advance to a higher level, it's not bad. Open the system panel. Lin Yu said softly, immediately afterwards. A blue light curtain appeared in Lin Yu's line of sight. Host. Lin Yu system level. Level 2, 10 plot points are required to upgrade to level 3. Plot point. 4 points remaining. See the core protagonist of Marvel World. Plot point +2. See the core supporting role plot point +1. Participate in core events. Increase plot points according to the degree of participation. Probability of level 1 mutants. 80% probability of second-order variants, 20%. Probability of third-order variants, 1%, triggered in extreme cases. Probability of fourth-order variants, 0%. Looking at the upgrade data of the system again, a smile appeared on Lin Yu's face. This press conference, although not the main plot. But Lin Yu must go. Because Lin Yu clearly remembers that there will be many important supporting actors participating in this conference. For example, the big villain in Iron Man 1, Obadiah Stane. Iron Man's girlfriend, Miss Potts. There is even a good friend of Iron Man, Colonel James Rhodes. In this way, there should be 3 main supporting roles alone. Coupled with the plot points of the press conference and the plot points of the protagonist, Tony, if you go around this circle, you will have no problem getting 6 plot points. Lin Yu became more excited as he thought about it. 6 plot points are enough to advance your system to level 3. Wanda, I'll go out. Lin Yu said casually. I want to go too. There was a suspicious expression in Wanda's eyes. Brother, isn't he going out on a date with that woman? Lin Yu was taken aback, but then he thought of a way. You go too. What should customers do in the store? No more money. Lin Yu said calmly. Speaking of making money, Wanda's expression immediately changed. In the past 2 days, the store's income is indeed good. Almost can catch up with the previous half of the month's income. And the goods in the store are almost sold out. Still need to buy some goods. Well, then you can go out by yourself, but you can't secretly meet that woman, Wanda said reluctantly. Compared to Lin Yu, making money is a little more important. Lin Yu hurriedly agreed. Although I had some opinions on this in my heart, I verbally accepted it in a hurry. Man's mouth, deceitful ghost. This is vividly demonstrated in Lin Yu. Picking up the car key on the bar, Lin Yu quickly left the grocery store as if fleeing. In the garage, Lin Yu gently turned the key, and the car's engine burst out with an overwhelming roar. Lin Yu's car was left by his dead parents in Lin Yu's life. The age of the car is even older than Lin Yu's. They were in a car accident when they were driving this car. And Most of the cars crashed and scrapped. Lin Yu spent a lot of effort and several $100s to fix it. But because it was really long, and the car accident was really serious. Under normal circumstances, Lin Yu is too lazy to open. But today is different, the press conference is about to begin. Lin Yu didn't want to wait for that unreliable bus. Therefore, I can only drive by myself. Lin Yu kicked the accelerator and the two classic cars rushed out of the garage. Ding. Your classic car seems to feel the anxiety in the owner's heart, and it automatically upgraded and evolved into a brand new Chevrolet Camaro. A ray of light flashed, and everything in front of Lin Yu's eyes changed. Gently stroking the soft steering wheel, Lin Yu showed extremely excited eyes in his eyes. Which man doesn't like speed and passion yet? With a sudden step on the accelerator, the bright yellow Camaro is like a beast, and the speed soars instantly. Cool. Lin Yu roared, like a rabbit that had just escaped from the control of the devil's head, and was completely happy. Just when Lin Yu went to the Stark Industry press conference. S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters. Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson are reporting this action to director Nick Fury. Natasha Romanoff is still the same, standing quietly behind Phil Coulson. Put the honest man Phil Coulson to the forefront. In fact, Natasha Romanoff was originally very positive. But since she came into contact with Lin Yu's mission, she has become a little taciturn. It is Lin Yu who is really strange. Compared with all the men she had met before, it was even stranger. He should not be described as strange. It should be weird. Natasha Romanoff had never seen such a weird person. By his side, there are extremely scary pets. His sister has a powerful force hidden in her body. His grocery store is filled with a weird atmosphere. And he himself seemed to control everything. In front of Lin Yu, Natasha Romanoff even felt that he was naked and completely seen through. It's like, no clothes. Natasha Romanoff is puzzled. What is the reason for this feeling? That man is less than 18 years old. He is not old, but he seems to be able to see himself completely and clearly. Although Phil Coulson was also very reluctant, he sorted out his thoughts and began to report to Chief Nick Fury. His husky pet dog can turn into a terrifying three-headed monster. That monster is extremely powerful. Not only is it strong, but its defense is also fully capable of resisting ordinary bullets. As for the stronger armor-piercing bullets, I don't know. Ends. In addition to its strong strength and defense, it also has terrifying high temperatures around it. The flames that burn on it are definitely not ordinary flames. Definitely, it also has an extremely sensitive nose. You can smell Tony Stark hundreds of kilometers away. In addition to that pet, Lin Yu's sister seems to have some strange things, as if she is very powerful and can easily leave handprints on the wooden bar counter. Actually, it was his grocery store that scared me the most. In that shop, there is a weird atmosphere everywhere. Even in broad daylight I feel the hairs rising. Listening to Phil Coulson's report, Nick Fury frowned deeper and deeper. He had heard it, and Phil Coulson seemed to have been scared by the young man named Lin Yu. The content of these reports all have a strong subjective element. It is very different from the previous report by Phil Coulson. The two have worked together for more than 10 years as an old partner, Nick Fury can see clearly. Don't talk about the issue of strength yet, talk about your other opinions. Nick Fury interrupted Phil Coulson's report and asked. This question is actually guiding Phil Coulson. Nick Fury wants to bring Phil Coulson out of these horrified emotions. Since his strength is so strong, Phil Coulson is a little scared. Let alone the question of strength, it would be fine. Hearing Nick Fury's words, Phil Coulson lowered his head and thought. Well, if you don't talk about strength, I think the most important thing is. Phil Coulson's eyes lit up, as if thinking of something. The most important thing should be the things sold in that grocery store. Phil Coulson seemed to think of a very important question. Nick Fury also brightened his eyes and asked, what's wrong with the selling? Is there any contraband? At this moment, keeping his head down, Natasha Romanoff, who was listening quietly behind him, also suddenly raised his head. She seems to have noticed some problems too, at this moment. Phil Coulson finally said slowly, no, there are no prohibited items, but the grocery store's goods are all high-quality goods, and they are too good and cheap. While talking, Phil Coulson also took out a comb from his pocket. That is a wooden comb, the workmanship. Not bad. Nick Fury was dumbfounded. Good quality and cheap? Are all boutiques? How do you feel that this kind of analysis was made by a customer? You bought a comb in his shop? Nick Fury asked suspiciously. Phil Coulson nodded hurriedly and said decisively, yes, if I have time, I will go shopping there. Nick Fury is completely speechless. As the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., he has seen many weird phenomena. But today is an eye-opener. One of his most loyal and ability's strongest subordinates, Phil Coulson, turned out to be like this. Damn it. Natasha Romanoff, Phil Coulson, what happened? What happened? Nick Fury asked coldly. He really couldn't understand it. At this moment, Natasha Romanoff walked forward 2 steps solemnly. Came to Phil Coulson's side. She frowned, thought for a moment, and then said, Phil Coulson is right. The goods in that store are really good and cheap. While talking, Natasha Romanoff drew a folding fan from her waist and shook it gently. The other side. Lin Yu drove his brand new Camaro, racing wildly all the way. Finally arrived at the scene before the start of the Stark Industry press conference. At the moment, Tony Stark has come to the press conference. His little girlfriend Miss Potts, good friend Colonel Road, and the villain Obadiah are all on the list. As soon as Lin Yu walked in the door, he saw these 4 people. Tony Stark was standing in the center of the front of the press conference, gorging himself with a burger in his hand. Aside, Potts and Rod both smiled, very happy that Tony was able to return safely. Obadiah Stan also had a smile on his face, only this smile looks a little hypocritical in front of someone like Lin Yu who knows the plot of the later stage. What a hypocrite. Lin Yu couldn't help but sigh secretly. Compared to hypocrites, Lin Yu feels that real villains are more likable. For example, like myself. Ding, congratulations to the host for participating in the Stark Industry press conference and getting 2 plot points. Ding, congratulations to the host for meeting the core protagonist of Marvel, Iron Man Tony Stark, and earning 2 plot points. Ding, congratulations to the host for meeting Marvel's core supporting character Colonel Rod, and earning 1 plot point. Ding, congratulations to the host for meeting Marvel's core supporting role, Tony's girlfriend Potts, for getting 1 plot point. Ding, congratulations to the host for seeing the core supporting villain of Marvel, Obadiah Stan, and earning 1 plot point. As soon as Lin Yu entered the arena, the system prompts in his mind rang frantically. There are several in a row, all of which are hints for plot points. Lin Yu was overjoyed. Sure enough, it was different from what I had guessed. Only when you go out, participate in the plot, and see these guys with your own eyes can your plot points be harvested. At this time, the system prompt sounded again. Ding. Congratulations to the host for meeting the system upgrade conditions. The system is being upgraded. The system upgrade is complete. Please check it by the host. Lin Yu was overjoyed. Hastily opened the system panel. A blue light curtain appeared in Lin Yu's sight again. Host. Lin Yu system level. Level 3, 20 plot points are required to upgrade to level 4. After upgrading to level 4, new functions will be opened. The system will not force items belonging to the host to mutate, as long as any objects around the host have mutated possibility. Plot point. 1 point remaining probability of level 1 mutants, 50%. Probability of second order variants, 40% probability of third order variants, 10%. Probability of fourth order variants, 1% probability of fifth order variants, 0%. Seeing this system panel, Lin Yu became more excited. In terms of the probability of occurrence of variants, it is not much different from what I expected. But there is one thing Lin Yu did not expect. If the system can be promoted to level 4, the range of variation will extend to all the items around. Even things that are not yours will do. That's really strong. In Lin Yu's mind, he had already begun to fantasize. If you run into the bank and the bank mutates and becomes your own, wouldn't it be ascendant by yourself? The system has just been upgraded to level 3. Lin Yu has already begun to look forward to the arrival of the level 4 system. Only, the plot points required for the system to be promoted to level 4 are doubled as compared to that of promotion to level 3. Only 20 plot points can be promoted. I'm afraid, we have to study how to get plot points next. At this moment, just when Lin Yu was thinking wildly, the press conference has already begun. At the moment, standing in front of the microphone, Tony Stark said solemnly, I announce that starting today, the weapons department of Stark Industries will be closed. As soon as this sentence came out, the entire press conference was completely messed up. Especially Obadiah Stan, his face turned blue. He had always watched Tony Stark not pleasing to his eyes. And now, Tony's words will make Stark Industries suffer huge amounts of losses. After all, Tony is nominally the largest shareholder of Stark Industries. Hateful. Although Obadiah Stani seemed to be bleeding in his heart, he still managed to hold back his laughter and came to the stage. At the moment, Tony Stark has slowly exited the field with the support of the bodyguard. The reporters on the field were not in the mood to listen to Obadiah Stan's unnutritious words. All the reporters, all in watching Tony's back. The cameras were also aimed at Tony. Reporters were excited bad. This is a big news. Definitely. The most exciting one is probably Lin Yu. Lin Yu's eyes lit up when he looked at his mobile phone that would be able to trade stocks on his own. Otherwise, he added himself to the fire. Let Stark Industries shares fall again violently number. At this moment, Lin Yu suddenly grabbed the microphone of a reporter next to him.